Hey Austin, it's Dr. Scott. I have some feedback for you on your second essay, the visual analysis. There's going to be class time on Monday, tomorrow, for you to work on your revision, to ask me questions, and to kind of make sure that you've got a good plan for revising the essay. Excuse me. The revision is going to be due a week from Monday, so that's going to be Monday, October 23rd. So what I'm going to do in this screencast is just kind of walk you through how you did on some of the main criteria for the assignment, and that was thesis statement, using details to support your thesis statement, being able to integrate sources, and then, shoot, there was one more, organization. And I'll kind of walk you through how you did on all that. I think in the introduction you kind of launch right into the thesis statement, or what seems like a thesis statement. And I think an introduction should kind of ease us into it a little bit. You can talk about the town of Portsmouth as a whole, maybe talk a little bit about what the murals meant to the town. I wanted you to use 2 of the 3 sources that we had talked about in class. You used 2 different sources, which I guess can be okay. But I think that the sources that we read about the floodwall murals and about murals, I think they might be more helpful for you. And they might also help you stay on topic a little bit more. You tried to write a little bit more about the history of the town and not necessarily about the visuals. And I think that those readings can help you do that. The thesis statement itself, I'm kind of taking the thesis statement to be both of these sentences here, this long sentence and then this other sentence. They're talking a lot about the impact of the murals. What they're not really kind of talking about yet, and that's I guess the third part of the thesis statement. The thesis statement has a subject, and so you just say 2 murals. It'd be helpful to know, like the 1903, give them a name. A 1903 mural and the Detroit Steel mural. If, you know, there should be a name for them that you can use to refer to them. So that's your subject. Your claim is that they show pride, and there's a lot of other things that you're saying that they do. But the thing that's missing in the thesis statement, that's missing in the essay as a whole, is how do they get that across? How visually do they get that idea across? Right here, you're trying to say that just because they show us something, that means it is that something, and that's not really what a visual analysis does. So you want to think about, visually speaking, like how do they get across this idea? So if pride is the thing that they want us to take away, what kind of things inspire pride? Well, how impressive the town looks just because the scale of the murals. Like, Portsmouth looks like a really significant town, like in that 1903 mural, like it's huge. Also in the steel mill picture, like there's also like just something there that's kind of overwhelming and kind of awesome. Not in like the "that's awesome, bro" kind of thing, but like it's just kind of a really awe-inspiring thing to look at, like something so huge. And they even show you a little person there to show you the scale. So I think that might be one method that you can use to talk about what the murals are trying to accomplish. And there are other things that they do to try and get this pride idea across. Okay, that's a huge issue for the essay, and it kind of changes like where the essay is going to go. But I think that that's actually a good thing, because when you do write about details from the murals, it's kind of like summary, like these 2 paragraphs here. You're just kind of summarizing things. And then when you write about pride, you're writing about the town's history and not really the murals. And so that needs to get flipped around. Like, the details that you have, they should be supporting a claim that you're making about how the murals are getting an idea across. Whether it be pride, or whether it be pride in like the history of work and the history of labor in this town. I think that could be actually kind of a cool paper, and I'd be interested in reading that. So I think that's what a lot of my comments are, and you see these little notes over here, and you'll be able to read these when you take a look. And it kind of says a little bit of the same. This screencast just lets me kind of go into a little bit more detail about what I was noticing in your essay. So thesis statement needs some revision to help you talk about how the murals get an idea across. There's things that you're doing in your essay, like, you know, when you're writing about, like, you know, how times are now, like the murals really aren't kind of saying anything about that. They give us hints that we're more modern now, but they're really not. Like, these murals really aren't about now. They were about what was then, and the question is, like, what are those murals supposed to get us to think or feel or believe about the town? What are they trying to inspire in us? And I think your idea of pride is right. I'm just not sure how some of this stuff helps you do that. Or the stuff where you talk later about the welfare system, like that just seemed like it was out of left field. A couple other things I'll mention that I think would be helpful is, one, I think all of your body paragraphs, you need to be writing about both murals in each of them. Like you can't have a section of the essay that's about one mural and then another section of the essay that's about another mural, and here's why. A thesis statement should be making an argument about what both of the murals are trying to accomplish and how they do it. And that how is missing right now, and I can chat with you about that tomorrow and how you might get that integrated into your essay. So it's how the mural is trying to get this message across. So if you say that both murals are trying to do something, and they have this method of doing it where they're showing really using proportion and size, like really large images that are meant to kind of inspire awe and pride in the people that view these images, and how they think about the history of like work in this town or something like that, which I think is super interesting. That means both the murals need to be doing that. So I think you have that in this mural right here, and then in the 1903 mural, I think you have something like a large size thing that just is really super impressive and kind of dominates the viewer if they're really kind of looking at it. Like the closer that they get to the mural, the more kind of impressive it is. That's cool. Like you can run with that. But both murals need to be talked about in the paragraphs. Like having a section of the paper about one mural and then another section about the other mural, that's not really doing it, because the thesis statement should be talking about both murals. And the roadmap or the reasons in your thesis statement need to be talking about how the murals get their ideas across. And both murals should be doing it. Or they should be doing it in different ways, or maybe they contrast and one does something better than the other. But both the murals need to be in each paragraph. I said something earlier about the sources. I'll say something really quickly about organization. You're kind of a ways away from kind of thinking about like restructuring the essay. I think there's going to be some rewriting that needs to be done, because you'll have to go back and take another look at that thesis statement, which is fine. Like that's okay for a draft. But when you revise your essay, organization is an important criteria for this assignment, so that means that every paragraph should be in your paper for a reason. So like there should be a reason why the first body paragraph is there and it's not the third body paragraph. Here you could have just kind of switched the steel mill paragraphs with the 1903 mural paragraphs, and it really wouldn't have changed that much. And like your paragraph should be in your paper for a reason. Like the place that you have, it should be there for a reason. Okay, so I think that's the bulk of the feedback that I have. We'll talk grade just really quickly, just to let you know how you're doing. And again, this is a draft, and I kind of read it as a draft, and there's a lot to figure out. This is kind of a tough assignment. It's not easy to do this. But here we go with grade, if this thing will load. Give me a second while I get this to load. Okay, so thesis statement, I think you've got the first two components. You've got a subject, you've got what seems like a claim, although the claim isn't super clear. You're saying that the murals are doing a lot. I'd kind of like you to focus on something, whether it's the pride idea or another idea that you have. The thing that's missing is the reasons and the roadmap, so like how it gets those ideas across, by like using certain colors, by using contrast, by using really impressive images, by, what are the visuals doing to help get an idea across. Supporting details, I put not close just yet, because when you do have details, you're just kind of summarizing the murals. And when you have details that are from your research, they're kind of not really talking about the murals at all. They're talking more about the history of the town. Organization, there's not much organization to the thinking or to the ideas just yet. If there is, it's not clear what that organization is. Source integration, I gave you close there because I think you are trying to integrate some sources, and you did so in a way where it was kind of set up. But again, I think using two of the three sources that I provided might be a little bit more useful. And then here at close to satisfactory, because there should be captions on the murals, and the list of works cited doesn't look quite right yet. It doesn't have that hanging indent thing, but that's really small potatoes at this point. All right, so there'll be time in class tomorrow to work on this, to ask me questions. This is a good draft. I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear. You probably wanted to hear, like, this is good to go. But this is actually a pretty decent start. It's just kind of figuring out, like, how the murals get their ideas across. That's really what we need to talk about in the next few days. All right, Austin, that's it for now. I will talk to you soon.